I just finished what I'm telling, and one more thing about the idea, and then we'll see what we have here. 3 very important things that we have here, and so just before that. So I remind you, the princess was outside, as you can see in that picture here. Or behind us, another picture. And just before the dragon came, St. George passed through. And he asked her, why are you crying? Why are you alone? What do you do here? And she told him, no time now for all the story. Just run away. And he said, I'm not going to run away. So tell me what is happening. And she said, plenty of people like you, knights and things like that, thought that they can do something. Nobody can help me now. And he said, no, you will tell me. And she told him briefly what is happening. As she finished, the dragon went out from the water, and he took the cross in front of the dragon. And surprisingly, the dragon just went down and kneeled by the cross. And he took the dragon with a leash like a dog and took him inside the town, that all the people will see what is the power of faith. And he took him out and beheaded and he killed him. And he saved the princess and the town. There was a huge celebration for that, and of course the king said, you can take my daughter to a wife, and we'll build you a castle and whatever. And then St. George said, I don't want anything. Take all the money that you want to give me. We will build a church with a baptismal site, and we will baptize the people so everybody will understand what is the power of Christian faith. And these 2 stories merge into one. St. George, the officer who saved the princess from the dragon. And it symbolizes 2 things, according to history. It symbolizes the power of faith. That's the first thing. It means that we all the time have the balance between doing the right or wrong. Walking by God or by Satan. And the dragon is a kind of a Satan that, misguides us not to do the right things, and we're supposed to always to think about religious and faith in God, which is St. George. But there's another thing. In the Middle Ages, when these stories were written again and again and again, it said that St. George symbolized Christianity, and the dragon symbolized the Roman Empire. And Christianity defeated the Roman Empire. They all became Christians. There was no war between, Byzantine Empire and Roman Empire. It just, the Roman Empire became Byzantine Empire. So faith defeated the Roman Empire. So this is all about St. George. And St. George, he's named Georgius, St. Georgius, as we said, became one of the most important saints in Christianity. And we know that the whole state called after him, Georgia, is after St. George. And he symbolized, the flag of Moscow, got St. George, and many others in the Catholic and Orthodox Church. And there are thousands of churches on the name of St. George in the world, but the most important one is here in Lod, because just below us in the crypt, he is buried. We will go down in a minute. But he's buried here. In normal days, it's impossible to sit quietly talk. There are so many people here all the time, all the Orthodox. Most of the Orthodox who will come as pilgrims to Israel will come to Lod. Okay, it means Greek, Romanian, Georgian, Russians, they all come here. Almost impossible to talk here. So whenever you come as a tour guide, remember, do it briefly, give place to other groups. We have to move all the time forward. Before that, in one of the cities that mentioned in the New Testament, if you look at the New Testament, almost no place is mentioned. You know, of course, Jerusalem. But look in the New Testament. Jerusalem, Nazareth, Sea of Galilee, and, you know, the apostles, so it's in the Mediterranean, but almost no city is mentioned. Lod is mentioned in the New Testament. When St. Peter came to travel around, and it said, if you want, in Acts chapter 9, when it said, as Peter was traveling about, his visits took him to the saints who lived in Lod, in Lydda. So, in the first century, there are already people who believed in Christ, in Lod. We'll talk about Lod in the first and second centuries in a few minutes in the mosaic. But so he came here, and it's as it said, he found a paralytic man. His name is Aeneas, and he asked him, how many years are you sick? And he said, I'm 8 years. I didn't move from my bed. And St. Peter told him, okay, take your things and go. And miraculously, he healed. He just took his things and started to walk. And they were all amazed of what happened. And he left Lod, continued to Jaffa.
What's the number of the verse?
Aeneas, what? 9. Acts chapter 9.
Acts chapter 9?
Yes. And I'm telling it because you all know what is Madaba map?
Yes.
Okay, remind you, Madaba map is a map that made
Byzantine map, 6th century.
The 6th century, as a kind of biblical map of the area. And I'll show you part of it in the museum. And in every part of it, every town in the land of Israel, it mentioned, you see a town, some houses, and a church. And in Lod, in Madaba, you see 2 churches, not 1, 2 in the 6th century. We don't really know, there's no names. We assume that in the 6th century, if there were 2 churches, one is for the name of St. George, and one is for the miracle of St. Peter, probably. Again, we assume. We don't really know. We know from travelers who came as pilgrims in the 5th and 6th century that they all came on the way between Emmaus and Jaffa. They passed through Lod in St. George Church. That for sure. And now let's see for a minute what we have here, and we'll go down. We almost have nothing from the Byzantine period, but we know for sure that was a Byzantine church, for sure. It was destroyed by the Fatimid dynasty, the Shiite Fatimid dynasty, who destroyed churches and synagogues all over the Fatimid Empire by the Imam called Al-Hakim, who decided to destroy almost everything which is not Islam. And as we know from sources, the main churches that he destroyed and synagogues. For here, we know in Israel that he destroyed Church of the Holy
Holy
Sepulchre,
Sepulchre.
of course, and the Church of Lod, where it was destroyed at the beginning of the 11th century. When the Crusaders came, they rebuilt it again, and this is part of the Crusader church. Okay, you can see again, pointed arch. You see Leaves Capitol, as we said before. Those who stand at the back, you can see the original apse, and that was a big basilica church that continued very long with central corridor that we are here and two at the sides. That's the Crusader. When the Mamluk came, we saw it in Ramle. In Ramle, they took the whole church and took it as a mosque. Here, because St. George is even imported in Islam and in the Druze faith as Al-Khadir, because of that, they didn't took everything. They took most of the church and built a mosque of the name of
Khadir.
the mosque. Omar bin al-Khattab. Again, Omar bin al-Khattab. And it's all around us. Women's section of the mosque. And the main mosque is behind us. And they left only a small church here. So you can see, we're in the central. There's one corridor to the left. There's no corridor to the right. It's blocked by a wall because there's a mosque there. It was built in the 19th century by the Greek Orthodox Church. It was almost destroyed in the 19th century. It was rebuilt in the end of the 19th century as we see today. And there are three things that when you come with Orthodox pilgrims, not just visitors, not tourists, okay, pilgrims who come for religious matters, when you come here, they have to see. Impossible without it. That's the main thing to come here. One is, of course, the tomb, the grave, which is down the crypt. We go down with these stairs and go up with this. Okay, so we can be a circulation. That's one thing. Impossible to avoid it, and you'll see on the grave, you'll see olive oil, which is called the blessed olive oil. And they sell it as a miracle oil. Okay, so please don't touch, but you'll see it. The second thing is a reliquarium. You know what's a reliquarium? A box with holy relics, with holy things. Part of his bones are here. You'll see there. There's a silver box. And when you come pilgrims, they take it out. You can like touch it and kiss it. It's amazing to see. And when he was in jail, St. George, he was locked by metal chain. When they brought him with a chain, they took off the chain and buried him without the chain. But the chain is hanging at the corner on the wall. And until today, it considers make miracles. So everybody will come, cover with a chain. Today, everybody will take photos with a chain. It takes a lot of time. So whenever you come with Orthodox pilgrims, give them time. Okay? We as tour guides are much less important than what we have here. That's the most important church of St. George in the world. Okay, so remember, we need to give them time. So please quietly go to